Hey guys, Carl97 again. This time with a review of the 144 scale high-grade tunable Century Gym Ecopla version from the original Gundam series. So for the color scheme, because this is an Ecopla, it's all black. And also because it is recycled plastic, you will see like tiny shimmers of other colors on there. But those shimmers, they're really tiny. They're smaller than the specks of dust you have on it. So it's a cool effect when you look at it up close, but from afar, it's just going to be a sleek black machine made out of pure awesomeness and recycled plastic on top of that. Then the one other color we get is the visor. It's still the same clear green of the normal gym. It might just look darker right now because, of course, it's surrounded by all that other black, but it's still the same green. For stickers, we get the same stickers as the original gym. The exact same ones. Meaning that, well, we're getting a black sticker for a completely black gym. Because, of course, well, on the original gym, this was red, so the black sticker did make more sense than here. And I guess Bandai did want to include it because they didn't want to make people think like, oh, you forgot something, or there's a production malfunction or something. I don't know. We're getting a black sticker for a black model kit. Moving on! Then, as with all the Ecopla, we get the regular marking stickers. Gunpla, Hobby Products Department, Bandai, and so on and so forth. If you really want to make your Gundam look like it's from the Gunpla factory. Articulation, if you're familiar with the original gym, this is of course still the exact same model kit. The head, I will say, I did slightly lengthen the neck, so on mine it does go a little bit up and down, has way more rotation than the original gym, rotates around all the way, arms rotate around, rotate below the elbow, rotate below the shoulder, bend at the elbow at one joint, hands, ball joints will rotate around, wiggle around, and do everything a ball joint does. The waist rotates around all the way and will also jiggle around side to side. And the cool thing is, there's like an extra piece in there to make it look like, well, it's still one piece and you don't just see right through it. And on the original gym, the cool thing was this was like a gray piece, so you would really it would really stand out against the other colors. And the front skirt is just one giant slab. Legs go forward about that far, backwards about that far, side around that far, and then they will rotate around a little bit. The knees are double jointed, but the top joint doesn't really do a lot. So in total, we get about 90 degrees. And the feet go forwards a bit, backwards a bit. We'll go side to side and rotate around. And for anyone familiar with the RX-78-2, it doesn't have the extra hinge joint at the top. The gym came out before the Gundam, so it is slightly more antiquated in its articulation. What the RX-78-2 also had that the gym does not have is forwards and backwards movement of the shoulder. This is just the regular peg that's sticking out. So overall, the articulation is okay. For the time, yeah, that's about what the articulation was like. But the big problem that the gym suffers from is that it's very easy to compare it to the Gundam. The original RX-78-2 high grade that came out a little bit later, but featured some really necessary improvements. Like I've shown, the shoulders and the feet. Like a few small things that made the RX-78-2 really stand out for the time, and that unfortunately make the gym look kinda bad. But it's one of those things, for the price, for the time, it had adequate articulation. Moving on to accessories and talking about things where the RX-78-2 outshines the gym. This does not have a hole for a beam saber, and we all know where that is going. Get out. At the very least, the hands are able to hold on to it very well. That is not going anywhere, even though we would want it to go somewhere. And well, on top of that, it's also black, so it does look slightly better than those regular ugly beam toothpicks. Still, there we go. Moving on, we of course get a beam spray gun. Comes with the trigger finger hand. It's a bit on the loose side. It's not going anywhere, but it could have been a slightly tighter fit. That's because it's kind of a, well, I wouldn't say universal hand because it's only used by the Gym and the Gundam, but it's still designed to hold on to many other things other than the beam spray gun. So that is a good thing. This hand is able to hold on to pretty much any other weapon out there. The big ones, like a few of the older weapons that are designed for like giant hands, this thing is able to hold on to it pretty well. Like for example, the beam spray gun that comes with the Gym Command, it's able to hold on to everything. So the hands on this thing are really, really good. Talking about hands that are really good, we get an open palm hand. And believe it or not, for the time, that was a very new thing. Yes, there were models like the Endless Waltz ones and the the option kit for the Victory Gundam kits that also had like open hands, but never really an open palm hand. Other than the burning finger of the Burning Gundam, of course. And it's a really nicely detailed one. Then finally, we get the shield. Comes with this right here. It's actually on a ball joint, believe it or not, so you can move this around so the shield can be slightly higher or slightly lower onto the arm. You can peg it into either arm, or if you want to, you can peg it into the back. And one really cool thing that I believe that a lot more model kits should do is if you bring in this holding hand, there's a handlebar right there. Absolutely perfect. As always, the inevitable question is, do you want to buy this? And well, looking purely at the model kit, I would say yes. Even though it's not the greatest machine out there, when you keep into account that the original Gym retailed for only 700 yen, and I would assume that the Ecopla would have retailed for about the same price. Yeah, it's a really good army builder machine. It doesn't have any of the fancy stuff that the RX-78-2 has, like those few little gimmicks it really could have used, but overall, a lot of it is just, like, not really neutralized, but a lot of it is made acceptable because of its price, because it's the Gym and army builder unit, and because that the stuff it does come with, like the beam spray gun, the shield, that's amazing. It's got something. And on top of all of that, it's pure black. It's really good looking. I've always liked the Gyms, and just having one completely black is a really cool thing to have. And it definitely does make the otherwise quite dopey Gym look at least a little bit more menacing, especially if you also lengthen the neck. Now, considering that this is an Ecopla, it's not that easy to get. I've heard that it's a lot more common to find in Japan, maybe depending on where you're looking, but as for us Westerners, who are only going to be able to get this through eBay, you might be out of luck because, well, they're pretty rare on auction sites that we have access to. So be careful paying too much for this, because keep in mind, the Ecoplas, they're just the regular version they're just the regular version in all black, meaning that you could just take the original model and paint it pitch black. Keep that in mind when you're hunting for these. Don't pay too much for an Ecopla. It's no particularly special version with any extra accessories except for the Ecopla sticker sheet, so I really wouldn't pay more than double the price you would pay for a regular Gym. Definitely not more than double the price. Keep around that price in mind. I think mine was 1,080 yen, and well, a fair price. So for size comparisons, first of all, here he is next to the Gym in the original colors, and the Ground Gym, which is going to be getting a revived version. And just look at the color difference between the Ecopla and the original version. The black one is definitely a lot more menacing. Then next to some of the other Ecoplas, the Gun Cannon and the RX-78-2 Gundam. And finally, here it is next to the standard size Gym Custom and the always bulky Zaku 3. And that's all for this review, and see you guys next time.